sweet little honeys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'm Anastasia. I'm a Toronto-based actor, YouTuber, content creator. I am heavily involved in this industry. And if you're returning, welcome. Love to you all. We're continuing this red flag series. I'm having a lot of fun with it, actually. I'm just going down memory lane about all the red flags that I've seen as an industry. And I've actually asked some of my friends as well to be like, hey, what are some red flags in certain categories that you've seen, that you've talked about, that you think should be out there for other people to know? So I've been gathering information, which also means comment down below if there's specific red flags you want me to talk about. I'm more than happy to include them in. You can also DM me on my Instagram. You know where I am at. Okay, let's get started because I don't have a lot of time. I have to go to my serving job. It's a beautiful Sunday, but I have to serve. So let's get into some red flag series. Our red flags today is about networking events and industry events, and boy, do I ever have a lot of tea to talk about. I've been to a lot of these events myself, and many of them have been so questionable that I'm like, why did I even book the night off work to come to this? Mind you, I obviously did not know that this is how it was gonna play out. But there are some things that you could already look out for prior to the event to understand, is it really worth your time? Are you really going to make it or break it on your career while you're there? My serving job, I work at a luxury hotel in the city, and we are part of the TIFF Hub, which is the Toronto International Film Festival. I'm not allowed to get into it, but what I can say is that I worked there for 8 years now, going on to 9, Jesus Christ. And I've worked every year TIFF. And so I've seen a lot. We do a lot of these networking events there, obviously, because people do their thing. And so there's just some interesting things that I've seen that this gives me also an insight differently from not just being the actor that shows up to the event, but also being a worker at these events. So I'm just gonna break it down all together for you of everything that I have seen myself or been through myself, and we're gonna add it into this gorgeous video. So let's get into it. One of the things that I find is the number one thing is when you go to these events and people start talking to you and you meet somebody and they're like, oh, you got such a great look. Oh my God, sweetheart. You're they're just pumping you up and they're making you feel and look so good and this and that. And they start promising you things like, oh yeah, give me a call, I'll make your career. What do you mean give me a call and you're gonna make my career? This is in the 2000s. Things like this don't unfortunately happen anymore, where you're walking on the street and the biggest New York agent's gonna see you and be like, oh my God, you're in, I want that. It doesn't work that way. Even when it does, it's one of those really is this for real moments? People will promise you too much too fast at networking events. And when they do that, they should already be your number one step, being like, okay, just nod and smile, take the card if you really want to. You don't have to, do this whole thing no, I think you're fake, blah, blah, blah. Just be cordial about it. You also don't want to cause a huge scene at these events. But when people like this promise you all up front too much too fast, and they like to be very pushy about it, most likely they don't have much to promise you. They're just being very big on the ego, and they like to brag and show off. You're more than welcome to look them up when you come home and see what they have done and what they have promised for other people. But most of the time, they haven't really done much. And this is their way of bragging and showing what they can and can't do. If you're at an event and someone is praising you all around and just really promise you some wild things where it's you're not a big name actor yet, you don't really have a lot going on, you got some student films, it just seems so wild and out of nowhere, and you don't even know who this person is, I would watch out for it. I would make sure that you know what you're signing yourself up for. Don't say anything to yes in that moment. Let them know to be sure, email me with some details, email me with what you want to do, let's meet for a coffee and talk when there's no alcohol present. That's also a big thing that I've noticed when people drink, they really come out of their shell. So there's a bunch of things that you can do to kind of save the situation and really check if this person is really going to promise you the things that they're supposed to promise you. No verifiable credits is also really big. Obviously, this is not something that you can find out in the moment when you're there. But one thing that I do is if you are getting business cards from people, names from people when you're at these networking events, industry events, what you can do is go home and check their name. Do they really say who they are? Are they really John Smith, producer for blah, blah, blah? When you look them up and you literally can't find anything about them, then honeys, he's fake. she's fake. They're not real. They're not who they really are. And that right there is a big red flag. You do not want to be in business with someone who's not honest about who they are and what their profession is and what they've done. If you look them up and their profession is for real and they have really done the stuff, then great. We can, you can discuss maybe next steps, meeting for coffee, whatever. The one thing that I've learned working these events myself, not even just like forget about going to working these events myself, and I obviously overhear all these meetings because I'm serving millions of these tables during TIFF. A real producer, casting director, actor, like someone who's really in the industry for real is going to be so plain, so melatonin, so just down to earth. They're not there to show them off because they know their worth, they know what they can do and what they're capable of, and their meetings are very low key. The guy who's sitting in the corner yelling everybody that he's a rich millionaire and he's gonna make this actor a really rich millionaire as well, most likely doesn't really have the credentials to what the big name producer next to him that's actually there for a real meeting. Like when they're having these real meetings, honeys, like they are so tamed and they're just so there in their business. They don't even notice that like I'm there serving them and whatever. Like they're so into what they're discussing. And that's the one interesting thing that I've found the consensus during these meetings, what they're doing. So I just want you to kind of remember that, like just look at the behavior of this person and see how they're acting and what they're doing. And this can kind of help you feel the situation and if they're have verifiable credits or not. Oh my God, this one is like creepy vibes and they're like kind of disguised as being networks. You're gonna meet a lot of people that have no relation to the film industry whatsoever, but they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that got them into the event, and they're gonna start to like pretend like they know what they're doing and what they're talking about, but they have no idea, and they give off really weird vibes. This kind of coincides with the drinking part. A lot of these events, there's obviously alcohol present. When I would go to these events and I'm professional there to actually network with people, yeah, I'll have a glass of wine, I'll have a glass of Prosecco, whatever, but I'm keeping myself tamed for a reason because this is still a professional event. When I go to my dad's a professor, and when he has to go to another country to talk about things at a university, whatever, I used to go with him and my mom. We would travel with him. It was a great family trip, and he would sometimes bring us to their like big convention, like big conventions or whatever they're called. And the one thing that I always was like admired at all these professors there, yeah, there's drinks, but nobody's getting sloshed because that's not the point of the event. They're there working and talking about business and discussing things. This is not a 21st birthday where people are taking shots. And it's the same thing with these networking events. Like a lot of people, the ones that are really there to do the networking, they're not going to be like beyond intoxicated. Like they're really there to talk about things properly. They want to be professional. So if you find someone being really creepy and like just being out of their mind, I most likely would stay away and would not chat with them and would not try to create some sort of business with them because I don't think they have business for you. If you feel uncomfortable in the situation, you don't have to cause a scene. You can just take the card and check them out when you come home. But if you're already feeling a little bit off about their vibes in the beginning, then most likely their vibes are really off and your gut is telling you to listen to your gut. This is an interesting one as well. When you're talking at these networking events and they don't really want to meet with you one-on-one on coffee to discuss, they just want to go straight into the project. This is also, I find really interesting because you're like, well, we just met. I don't barely even know your name. I don't even really know any of your credentials. You haven't even seen my work per se. Like I'm not an Angelina Jolie where all my movies are just out in the open right there. Like sure, I have my website and I have my demo and my resume and everything's out there, but still like, wouldn't you want to audition me? Wouldn't you want to go through a process where you chat with me about these things first? Like there are steps that you do prior to just throwing the project out there. I had an incident once at a networking event where this gentleman was really trying to sell me this project that he was doing, and he was telling me that he had, what's his name? Mark Wahlberg in it involved, and I was like, okay. It was just, the whole process was really odd. This is the other thing. They do start dropping big names that are in the movie. Most of the time you sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, where you're not really allowed to be talking about these things. So when they're dropping big names already at a networking event, like this isn't even at the audition, because at the audition you also sign an NDA if you have to. I've signed NDAs when I've gone into audition where I'm like, I'm not allowed to discuss the fact that I even had this audition period because it's such a big name project that I'm auditioning for. But when you're at a networking event and the project hasn't even been funded, hasn't been announced by anything, and they're dropping these big names already, that kind of already seems a little bit weird to you because it's like, it's like too good to be true. So when you're vulnerable and you're young, and I was there at 22, 21, 23, really trying to make it in this industry, really trying to get that big break. And I'm at these like TIFF networking events and people are dropping me their projects with big names. Yeah, you get excited. Yeah, you get really into it. You're like, oh my God, are you serious? And you want me to be in the movie? Like me with Mark Wahlberg? Like what? And you get really into it and you really get in your head about it. And you're like, oh my God, this is it. This is a big moment, but you're missing the big picture. You're missing the fact that this may not even be a real project and you may be getting yourself into a lot of problems. So just always check things out. And if they don't want to brainstorm with you and have a coffee with you one-on-one, have a phone call with you, they just want to go straight into being like, yeah, you know what? Let's do this and that. It's just like a little bit odd. It's also like, do you not want to know that the person you're asking for is credible? Like, don't you want to know that I'm right for the part? Like, you just met me, maybe I'm not. Like, don't you want to verify me as well? So something to think about. This is kind of like not just about networking, but when they trash talk other people in the industry, this is a big no-no for me. This industry may be large, okay? Yes, it may be large because there's a million of us in it, but it's also extremely small. And you'd be surprised that when you trash talk someone in this industry, holy crap, it is gonna get back to whoever you were trash talking to. It always does. Now, if you're coming from a place of that you're like, let's say having issues with your agent and you need some like legit advice to be like, I don't know how to proceed with this, that's totally different. Like that's like, I need help and I need to figure it out. And you're doing it in a professional, polite way. You're, being the bigger person in the room. Who cares about how your agent is taking care of it? You want to focus on you. And you went to your coach and said, hey, can I please have a meeting with you? I'm having this issue with my agent. I've done everything I could in my possible power on my own, but I really need some like advice on how to proceed with this. That's very different. That's not trash talking. If you walked into a network event and just started telling everybody that your agent, Jenny, is awful and horrible and is this and this and this, and like literally you're trash talking, you're calling her names, most likely Jenny might even be at the event, but there are other people that are signed by Jenny. Jenny is not only signed, has like 3 people signed, she probably has 100 people signed, and these things do get back to Jenny. So when you're at these events and you hear how openly these other people are trash talking, makes me wonder, I'm like, what are you gonna say about me if I audition for you and I don't do a good job? Are you gonna trash talk about me in my audition? I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want my name to be trash talked because I'm associated with you. And that's the other thing. You have to remember that if this person is trash talking and you do a project with them and they trash talk about everybody, you are now associated with that person who trash talks. It's not necessarily the look you want to be a part of. And yes, everybody's gonna trash talk in this industry. And yes, you cannot guarantee that the project that you said yes to, that no one's gonna trash talk. No, but I'm telling you, if there's someone there's trying to do some weird, crazy ass business with you and they love trash talking everybody, but then yet they still want to work with these people, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of drama. It's gonna be a lot of drama on this set, and I don't know if it's worth it. Sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes your mental health and your sanity is much more worth it than this project with all the drama that's gonna come with it. The other thing is also seeing where these industry events are held and who's invited and how it's like how to get in. The high level industry events are most of the time by super invite only, and like they're like VIPs, like extra VIPs. I've been to industry events where it's like it's done through the Facebook group, is being spread around everywhere. When it's one of those, like, not to downplay, but like there's gonna be 3 million people at this event. It's literally everybody that's aspiring to be in this industry. And I've gone to them. There's one specifically that happens at TIFF. I don't even know if it still happens, but I've gone to it and I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I got invited to my first TIFF event and I went and I was like, oh, this is like a club event. This is not like we're here to network. This is not what I think it is. And I remember I was there and I was like, what am I doing here? What is going on? There was like big DJ music. There's like a few agents there that I thought were interesting, why these agents would be here. You couldn't even speak because the music is so loud. It's like, and you're hearing this and you're just so like, oh my God, this is just insane. And everybody's yelling over everybody. Everyone's like so sweaty and like the music is like full on club music. This is not a networking event. This is just an event for TIFF to have fun. So that's the other thing. You want to kind of read the fine print and take a look at where it's coming from. A lot of the times these events, when they're open to the public, like yeah, you could maybe meet some interesting people, yes, but you're not going to meet the best next Steven, Spielberg director, whatever, producer, casting, and have the big moment. Like, they're not going to show up to these events because they're literally full open to the public. The only security that they have there is the security that just checks your ID at the door. So I wanted to talk about these things because we're around the corner from TIFF. Like, it's July, and TIFF is in 2 months, and a lot of these events already start to kind of put them out there, and they're gonna start networking and putting up, like, I was gonna say flyers, like it's 1990, not flyers, but like invitations. That's the word I'm looking. Invitations out there. You just want to make sure that what you're getting yourself into is worth your time and just worth you even going there. I stopped going to a lot of these events because I just would go there and I'm like, what is this? Like, why am I here? It's literally a place to just club and party. Nobody's here to even network and chat, and it's a waste of my time. So no, and I'm not to say that I'm higher than that. No, not at all. It's just, I'm not in that headspace where I'm here to party with random people. I would like to go to an event where I can legitimately talk about projects and talk about what goes on in the industry and talk about, what new topics can I bring to my YouTube channel. And I'm not going to do that at a club that has full-on DJ, Coachella music playing. That's not the vibe I'm looking for these events. And having to have worked in luxury hotels all across the city, I have worked at many of these events, and many of them can be super, super VIP because, well, they are, and then some are not, and they're just a fun time for everybody to get together. So you can kind of gauge it, pick and choose what works for you. If you are looking for a fun time just to meet a fun, cool people, 100%. But if you're really there to like be professional and find connections, a lot of the time these events are not going to give you that. So I just want to give people the heads up. Okay, honeys, what time is it? 1:39. Oh, okay, I gotta go to my serving job. This sucks, but happy, beautiful Friday. It's really gorgeous here today in Toronto. I love you all. If you have any questions about industry or networking events, please comment below, or you can also DM me. You know where I'm at. Okay, love you, honeys. Bye.